Hi YouTubers, welcome to another episode of All Things Triumph Tiger 1200 Explorer. This is part 2 of steering head bearing replacement. So, first things first, we're taking the speedometer off because I need to roll the handlebars forward and probably cable tie them to this frame here. I don't want to damage the speedometer. They're quite pricey items. So, speedometer has two electrical connectors. You just pull the little rubber boot off and push the little clip and pull it out. There's a left hand one and a right hand one. Whoops, I've already loosened it, so it's a bit loosey-goosey. Let's not drop it, shall we? So there was a cover on the, before you get to all this. And there was also one screw in the bottom where my little pinky finger is there. A little torque screw, so that these two pull out of the rubber grommets. The two electrical connectors, press the little tab, pull them out, and one screw next to where my pinky finger is there as well, going into that little threaded hole. And then the speedometer comes free. Yeah. So next phase of operation is going to be to loosen the, I think it's an 8mm and a 6mm Allen keys. And then we'll put the handlebar, roll it forward, cable tie it onto the frame. I was thinking, because I have to actually drain the fork legs, unless you want to grip the whole fork leg in a vise, which I don't really want to do, it's actually a good thing to get a big spanner out and just loosen the little cap, the cap bolt. So no, this whole thing is actually one piece. So if you turn this little hexagonal nut, the whole top it loosens off. So just to slacken it off with a spanner, so when you actually have the fork legs out, I don't have to put them into a vise. I can just literally loosen the cap and turn them upside down and drain the oil. So we'll do that. We'll loosen both left and right fork legs. After we've moved the handlebar across there and cable tied it there, I'm going to slacken off the pinch bolts there and lower down and hold the fork legs on and drop the fork legs out. So same as last time, we're going to click our fingers and it should all happen. And as if by magic, fork legs are gone. And the handlebar has been rolled forward and cable tied onto this frame here. So I did put a bit of masking tape between the frame and the handlebar. It would probably make sense to put a little cloth actually on each side of there. An old sock, if you've got an old sock, just wrap it around the handlebar and then cable tie it over the whole sock. Yeah, so the handlebar looks alright. One thing I've got to be a little bit careful of is to make sure that the brake fluid doesn't leak out and the clutch fluid doesn't leak out. But so far it's properly sealed, and of course the seal in there should not allow any fluid to escape, and it hasn't. But if you are concerned, you should probably put a decent cloth between the paintwork and the reservoir, the clutch and the brake fluid reservoirs. Yeah, there's nothing happening here, no fluid coming out. Yeah, so it was definitely essential to remove the speedometer because it would absolutely have been in the way. So yeah, it's given me quite a bit of space. Bear in mind that we're going to have to be loosening this steering top nut and probably rolling this up and forward and up against the handlebar here as well. I can see myself cable tying this to the handlebar as well, because you need that open part of the frame where the races are and the top and the bottom. You need that exposed because you're going to have to punch those out. Right, so I think we'll call this part 2 and stop there, and then I'll make a part number 3. So just out of interest sake, if you actually look at the fork legs, I have labeled them left and right with a marker. And I have already, before I took the legs out, I actually loosened this with a 22 spanner. Just loosen the cap. That whole cap screws off one piece. It just means that you don't have to put it into a vise to loosen the cap nut, because it's fairly tight. You certainly would not be able to hold it with your hand and loosen it with a spanner, unless you had a gorilla powerful grip. Yeah, so these guys will be cleaned up. I'll be taking the cap out, draining the oil. I've got 5-weight oil, which has been really good. Quite compliant and fairly comfortable on the road. Actually, was it 4-weight or 5-weight? I can't recall now. I'll have to write in the comments, but 4-weight or 5-weight was actually really nice. And yeah, also what I did, I put this old seat of mine on the floor here in case the fork legs came sliding out, and they didn't. And I've got this brake tool I got from Super Cheap Auto. I love these tools, by the way. They're fantastic. They're actually for loosening and tightening the drum brake adjuster, but they actually make very good levers. And I found that if you you have the option of the big end and the small end, and you can get one of the two into the gap and just gently press it in. Then as you press it in, you can see it opening up. So you release the one, hold the fork legs, you come down and you put it in there, either in the bottom there, and if it's too big you use the smaller one, either in there or in the side like so, and you just gently wiggle it. And as you can see, I've actually left no marks because I did it very gently. And this tool is also quite rounded. It's not particularly sharp, so that's good for that function. Yeah, and they just slid out. So I'm just going to think a little bit aloud here. I can see on the underneath here there's the hooter. That's also going to be in the way. So there's two little electrical connectors. We'll obviously just pop them off and remove the nut that holds the hooter in place here. I could actually remove the hooter once I've removed the bottom yoke. This whole piece is going to slide down once I've loosened the top nut, and loosened the adjusting nuts as well. So in the next video, I'm going to show you the parts I've bought, and we'll go ahead and actually release the lower yoke and have a look at the bearings and see what the damage is like. But the nice thing is that bearings were actually made to wear out. So you can always destroy your bearings and the racers, knock them out and put in a fresh set, and you're good as new. So even though I've actually neglected my steering head bearings, I should actually have taken it apart like now and lubricated it nicely. But even though I haven't done it for 90,000 Ks, which is as long as I've actually had the bike, I mean as long as I've ridden the bike for, the bearings can be replaced and it'll be like brand new again, which is fantastic. Well, we'll see you in part 3. Cheerio.